So I've been saying for some time now that I expect censorship on the big tech social media platforms of conservatives or just non-mainstream narrative channels to really ramp up in the lead up to the 2024 election. And guess what? I just found out the hard way. I was right. So I published a video last Thursday called Stephen Hawking and the Epstein Documents. And in this video, I make jokes about how I don't think that Stephen Hawking, a man who couldn't move, was involved in orgies. And I published it. It was approved. It was approved for monetization. Now, obviously, Epstein Island was real, and Epstein was bringing important people there to do bad things. And I even say that if there had been no Epstein Island, Bill Clinton would have built one himself. And maybe that's what they're mad about. But it seems like they're claiming that I'm harassing Stephen Hawking, a man who is no longer alive. Hi, Radio Baloney. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our harassment policy. We've removed the following content from YouTube: Stephen Hawking and the Epstein Documents. We know that this might be disappointing, but it's important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all. If content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think we've made a mistake, you can appeal and we'll take another look. Well, guess what? I did appeal it. And even though they say it should take 72 hours for the process, my appeal was rejected within 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that's right. It almost makes you think that nobody actually did review it, that the appeal was just automatically rejected without anybody ever taking a look at it. But I must have done something wrong, right? I mean, they wouldn't just take it down for nothing. I mean, how did my content violate their precious policy that's only there to protect everybody, right? It says content that contains targeted harassment or malicious insults, such as racial slurs, isn't allowed on YouTube. But this includes, but is not limited to, stalking, threats, unwanted sexualization, and prolonged name-calling or malicious insults that target intrinsic attributes. So let's go through this. Targeted harassment. So I was saying I didn't think the allegations against Hawking were true. Malicious insults, such as racial slurs. I have never used a racial slur in any of my 1,000+ videos. Not on YouTube, not on anywhere else. Let's see, how about stalking? No, I did not stalk Stephen Hawking. Threats? I didn't make threats against the man who's no longer alive, and why would I in the first place? Unwanted sexualization, that's interesting. And prolonged name-calling or malicious insults that target intrinsic attributes. I don't know, I made some jokes, but I didn't do any of this. In fact, it's completely and utterly ridiculous. And you can see my video on Rumble, on Odyssey, on BitChute, on X, formerly Twitter, and you can make up your mind for yourself. Here's the letter I got from YouTube after I filed my appeal. We reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed that it violates our harassment policy. I don't know how you can harass somebody who no longer exists. I would ask YouTube to explain that to me, except of course there's no further recourse. And let me remind you, when I published this video, there was no problem. In fact, they even monetized it. But anyway, we know this is probably disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. Okay, well, why don't you actually do that instead of doing what you actually do? But in any case, now I have a 90-day warning and the video is completely taken down. And if they decide that I've violated their policies again in that time, then I get a hard strike. I can't upload for a week. And then a couple more times, and well, it's all over, folks, at least on YouTube. But let me just recap this for you. So they decided that I had violated their harassment policy in a video where I said I don't think that Stephen Hawking was in orgies because the man literally couldn't move. And how you can harass somebody who's no longer alive, I don't know how that works. And add on top of that, he was a public figure anyway, so that shouldn't matter. And the jokes that I was telling in the video are the kinds of jokes you can find all over social media anyway, including on YouTube. And I tell you, if this is the bar that's set, they could just nuke my channel at any time for any reason, and then call it harassment. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, this is not totally unexpected. I expect a lot more of it as we lead up to the election. And I think that moving forward, there are going to be increasingly more topics that you're just not allowed to talk about because the powers that be feel that it'll be bad for the Democrats. And I also expect it to happen to mostly probably smaller channels like mine, where nobody's really going to find out. I'm making this video so that the people who do follow me know that I'm on other platforms, so that if suddenly my channel isn't on YouTube anymore, they know I'm on other platforms, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, X. But all of that said, I'm going to keep my channel on YouTube because I can use it to leverage getting people to my other platforms before YouTube does, which I fully expect them to do, nuke my channel entirely. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please go to the other platforms like Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, X, and subscribe to me over there. Subscribe, like, and share over at those places. Before, I won't be able to tell you to do that on YouTube anymore.